was still either not having revivals or not having out-of-town speakers, having a limited amount of services or whatever. So we just kind of saved up for the last few months, and we took a trip out west to visit a lot of the pioneer churches in Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, and then there Denver, Colorado on our way out. So while we were there preaching that morning at Brother McCoy's, I just really felt like the Lord gave me a burden and a vision to build them a church. And we didn't know, of course, at the time, until later he shared with us that they had lost the lease on their building. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to send you a link to a little update video that he made. And he's been trying to share some stuff on social media since we were there. But anyway, they lost the lease on their building, and they've been having to have church under a tent in his yard. And at first it looked, devastating to the future of the church. The cheapest rent for just like I think a very small shotgun little building, just a tiny little ratty building, was $4,500 plus utilities there in that Denver metro. So he felt led to open a building fund account, and what I understand is the Sunday we were there was the second Sunday, and they had already brought in a little over 5,000 in just their church of 20-something people. But anyway, they've been there for several months having church in his yard, which obviously has not been unbearable during the summer, but it's getting ready to come to a screeching halt with winter coming on. So he shared that with us. I talked to him, told him what the vision I felt and what I felt like the Lord had dealt with me about. Of course, they were open to it. He said, "Brother, there's no way we can't afford a building." He said someone was going to give us land a few years ago, but the zoning was real crazy on it, and they, I think he said it was going to take, the way I understood, at least $1 million to even build any type of a, just some kind of a very small basic building. So I told him, I said, what I had felt like trying to do, if you're open to building it. He had 35 acres there, beautiful location, just off the interstate, about maybe a mile. I don't know, maybe not even that far, but just right off the interstate, kind of a rural area. And I said, if you're open to building it on your property, I wanted to try to see about building him a just like a pole barn type metal building and finish the interior. And so he was willing to. He got with the county. We've actually been working for the last several days with them on permitting. First, he was going to have to try to build something a certain size. He couldn't ever have more than 100 people in it at a time. And which he said, obviously, at that point, if we have 100 people, we can probably afford to relocate. We were going to build something very small that he could use for a shop or whatever, after they grew to that point and could move. But we got those permits. Told him, I said, have the church anoint him and pray over him, and let's go back. In the meantime, we've talked to several ministers, and so Sunday was a week since we had been there. The county has now told him, and they also told him to, if they built over a certain size structure or poured more than so much concrete at once, they would encounter a lot of issues with being zoned commercial and require a lot of permits. We had contractors, friends in Oklahoma that were going to do the building. My brother-in-law has a concrete business, some friends that we went to church with over the years. We were going to try to do everything, and then I would do most of the interior finish out. In the meantime, he talked to the county. They told him certain size, you can't go over this. Well, we prayed over those papers, went back a week later. The head person there in the county permit office told him, build any size you want. We won't bother you on permits. And he can have, they upped it from 100 to 350 people before, they would ever say anything. He does not have to have a Colorado licensed general contractor oversee it. He can be his own general contractor. The only thing we have to have inspected is the electric, which we were going to wire it all ourselves, but they gave him a number for an electrician who works strictly for nonprofit organizations or whatever. He's going to let him use his contractor license. We can do all the work, so there's no labor cost. And then that man will come in and see the inspection through for us. So same way with plumbing, they're going to have gas heat, and we're going to have them put in the gas company there will put in a gas hookup. We'll do all the all the connections inside, but same way a nonprofit company's going to help them. So in 1 week, they have gone from $5,000. They had a $2,000 donation last Thursday, I think it was, something like that. We've had several that have given us money to send in it. We're fixing to send another 1,000. Brother Gallagher and the church here took an offering up Sunday night. They took an offering up Sunday night, got, I think, just over 2,000. That's being sent. There's several pastors have sent or are sending $500 donations. So as of yesterday, we're well over $10,000 with approximately another 10 that looks like it's being pledged. Pastors that have said we're going to take an offering, bring it before our church. So those offerings haven't come in yet. But so far the cheapest bid I've got, checking with several friends that we've done business with over the years, I could do it all myself. I don't have a crew anymore. We evangelize full time. It's just not, I can do the work. I could build the whole thing myself, but obviously it would take forever. So, Brother Aaron Gillis and Sister Hannah from Kellyville, Sapulpa area, are probably going to do our building on actually erecting the building. They've given us a bid of just over $20,000. I don't really remember for sure, 22 maybe, something like that. That is for a 30 by 50 with a 10-foot lean-to down the side. We'll concrete it. It'll basically be a porch, but they're going to they do a barbecue cook once a month to like community outreach, play music. They'll be able to set tables and chairs down that porch for eating. We're going to put a restroom. I have a little blueprint that we've drawn up. They're going to try to fix it where they'll have 70 chairs in the sanctuary, and then, of course, they'll have a pulpit, and there'll be some chairs there, and then there's kind of a wing on each side facing your congregation's facing the Bible stand, but then to the right and the left of the Bible stand will be a couple of rows of chairs facing that. I have 3 windows down each side, 3 by 5 insulated windows. Brother Aaron and them have given us a bid, 10-foot sidewalls with scissor trusses, so there'll be a cathedral ceiling in the church, in the sanctuary portion of it. Be metal on the outside. Their bid also included 4-inch R19 insulation with foil backing on each side that'll go between the metal and the purlings. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. If you know what it's going to take, I'm just trying to be thorough in what I'm telling you. Maybe being too thorough, I don't know. Apologize, but anyway. We've contacted a brother there in Oklahoma, and we're looking for some others if there is some within the Holiness people that do the spray foam insulation. We'd like to do 1.5 inch spray foam on the walls and ceiling, in addition to the insulation that Brother Aaron and them will do, just because of the cold Denver winters and all. We'll finish the interior. We're going to do stained concrete for now, and that way if they ever want to carpet it, they can. But for the time being, it'll be stained concrete floors with the chairs. They already have the chairs, I believe, enough or near enough for what they're going to do. And so we're just trying to, we've had several people offer to help with the actual building of the building. As soon as he gets his permit signed, which hopefully will be within a week, we'll be ready to start hauling material out there. And Jennifer and I and our family plan to accompany the first load of material out. I don't know if I'll stay from then until it's done, until they have the first service, or if we'll kind of go back and forth. It'll probably a lot depend on the timeline. But I'll be there at least a lot during that time. We really don't have any revivals going right now. We're still getting cancellations from, had one just the other day for a homecoming fellowship meeting and revival. First week of October, canceled because they've had a bad outbreak in their church. So, there's been weekends, Wednesday nights here, and Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri for now. But basically, we're just going to try to take the next couple of months and build a church, I guess. And it looks like the Lord's really moving in it. So we're just trying to ask for all the involvement we can get. I told them when I presented the idea to them, I said I would rather have 1 million widow women that God could deal with to give $1 a piece than I would have one rich man build this thing. And I said I'd rather have 25, 30 churches send $500 or $1,000 offerings than have one church build the whole thing. I said, the more, a lot of people don't even know they're there. And I said, you need the exposure and the connection to the Holiness people across the country. And I said, I believe this can infuse you better into the movement. Already we had 2 different church groups that were out in Colorado, elk hunting, deer hunting. As a matter of fact, one group came within a mile of us while we were there, and a friend of mine texted me and seeing where we were. I told him, and both churches had no idea that there was a church anywhere around there. So I think it's really going to help them being connected, and plus the more people that are involved, the more people that will be blessed by their involvement. And of course, praying for them, and it's really helped him. I know he feels very isolated, and Brother McCoy said it's been a tremendous eye opener. That he said when you first approached me that Sunday, I just felt it from the Lord. I told Jennifer, I said when I pulled in there, I said I just felt God speak to my heart, and I said I saw a building sitting there, and when I presented it to them, and they, I didn't know who owned what or how the land lay. When the church come back and said, yes, we would like to let you try to do this for us. I said, I may fail. Maybe nobody will give anything. Maybe a total bust. But I said, I feel it so strong, I have to try. And when it come back, he said if I could show you where we would like it. He took me to that very spot. I never told anybody but Jennifer and the girls. And when they picked the colors, I had already written down, told them what I felt like the Lord had laid on my heart. They picked everything the same. I never tried to lead them in any direction, never made any suggestions. And it just really looks like the Lord has, undertaken. And so I'm expecting it to go. I contacted Brother David Webb a few days after we were there, or maybe while we were there, I can't remember for sure. And because I knew that brother was out of his church. And we've contacted a lot of preachers across the country and just put out a plea for help. And, I feel like I really believe God's going to do it. My vision has been to try to get it done in 30 days from the day we get going on it. So, If it can happen, it'll be a blessing. If it don't, I guess I'd rather get it built in 35 or 40 than not get it built at all. But I feel like at this point, they're almost to the point that Brother McCoy said we have enough, and enough that's been pledged, that we feel like we can at least erect the building. And he said if that's all the money we get, he said we'll have church inside that building with a dirt floor if we can't afford the concrete and the finish out. He said at least it'll keep the wind off of us, and we'll do our best. But I don't believe God's going to leave him halfway done. I'm expecting this thing to go all the way through. So anyway, it was easier for me to do it like this than just to try to text it to you. But I will send you Brother McCoy's little video that he made a week or so ago. And if you guys feel like being a part of it and feel like you can, it'd be great. And one pastor contacted us and said they were resourced out financially at his church, but he said, I'll tell you what we can do. He said, we'll pray for easy permitting, pray for good inspectors, pray for the contractors that go. And so one way or the other, I believe it's going to happen. I really do. I can already see the vision coming together. So anyway, Lord bless you. Good to hear from you. We'll talk to you.